Good evening and welcome to Premier League Live this Wednesday evening as we are watching Everton against Manchester City. The new Club World Champions are back in Premier League action after their week off, and they're back with a bang as Goodison Park, where in-form Everton are looking to upset the apple cart. This is one of three games kicking off this evening in the Premier League. Two already underway, kicked off around 40 minutes ago. Brentford currently trailing 3-1 to Wolves at the G-Tech in London, and Chelsea are winning a game of football. They are leading Crystal Palace by 1-0 in that London derby. And of course Everton Man City is the other game we're watching this evening. To the teams then for this evening's match. We start with Everton. They're back at home and they have Jordan Pickford in goal. Sean Dyche starts with Nathan Patterson, James Tarkowski the captain, Jared Branthwaite and Vitaly Mykolenko in defence. Amadou Onana and Andre Gomez make up the midfield with an attack of James Garner, Jack Harrison, Dwight McNeil and Beto, who starts up front. On the bench for Everton is one of their main scorers in Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's been benched tonight alongside Virginia, Keane, Coleman, Godfrey Hunt, Dobbin, Shermiti and Danjuma. For the World Club champions Manchester City, they start with Edison in goal. A few changes to Pep Guardiola's side. They start with the back four of Kyle Walker, who's the captain, John Stones, Manuel Akanji and Nathan Ake in defence. A midfield of Rodri and Mateus Nunes with a front four of Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish and Julian Alvarez. On the bench for City, Ortega, Vardiol, Luis Gomez, Hamilton, Kovacic, Bob, Sissoko and Phillips. So the World Club champions back in Premier League action. Another trophy they know fairly well. Everton, well, they're not really in a relegation battle, but they could be if tonight doesn't go well. We will see. Kick off from Goodison Park in just a minute. Good evening and welcome to Premier League Live this evening as this Premier League clash is about to get underway, as there's a round of applause around Goodison Park to remember all of those either Everton fans or anyone associated with Everton Football Club who have lost their lives this year, including, of course, Bill Kenwright, their well-known chairman, who died earlier this year, amongst many others. Everton in their traditional home kit of all blue, and Manchester City in a away kit of white shirt and kind of maroon shorts for this evening. And Manchester City back in Premier League action. I mean, there's not many Premier League grounds that you don't want to be coming to around this time of year, and Goodison Park, I'm sure, is one of them, especially with the way that Everton are playing at the moment. Both sets of players will take a knee in saying there is no room for discrimination in football, as has been the message from all 20 Premier League clubs over this festive period, and as always, of course, as Everton get us underway then, and they'll be looking for a massive scalping tonight of the team that at the moment Manchester City need to get going. They're not in a title race at the moment. Beto's had an early header there that is quite well wide from the Everton forward, who himself is in good form recently, Beto. If we look at his recent form, I mean, he scored in the League Cup game for Everton and scored against Newcastle as well very recently. He has been sparse with his scoring, but in the recent weeks he has been back on the score sheet for Everton, back in the team. And Sean Dyche surely has the confidence in him to give him a start tonight after that 2-1 defeat to Tottenham at the weekend. Everton looking to get back to winning ways, which is where they've been recently, of course. When we look at Everton's recent form, despite that League Cup defeat and the defeat in the league to Tottenham away, they've beat Burnley, Chelsea, Newcastle, Forest in their last 6 games in the league. So fairly good form, but they're coming against a side. I mean, they've just lifted a Club World Championship. They're on the top of the mountain at the moment, Manchester City. From that front, lifted a possible 5 trophies already this year. It's been one of those memorable years for Manchester City, as it has been for quite a last couple of years. This one more than any other. Here's Bernardo Silva for City's first attack, and the ball does come off an Everton player there, and will be a City throw-in on the right-hand side. And we'll keep you up to date, of course, with the other games going on at the moment between Brentford and Wolves and Chelsea and Crystal Palace. Those games currently underway, and they kicked off around 45 minutes before us, so they will be coming to half-time any moment now. We'll keep up to date with those half-time scores when they come through. Actually, there's just been a goal at Stamford Bridge, which has Crystal Palace back level. We'll tell you more about that in a moment once we get properly underway here. Here's Bernardo Silva down the right-hand side, trying to get past Mikalenko, but Dwight McNeil helping out and defends well for Everton. Mikalenko sends it long. John Stones to intercept, and now Rodri, who's caught on the ball. That's really good from Everton, but a bit sloppy there from James Garner, and now Rodri has it back. Grealish on the left-hand side will take his time. Back to Ake, and now all the way back to Manuel Akanji. Well, Manchester City don't need to go full strength tonight. I mean, even if they do make a couple of changes, it should still be good enough to get them 3 points, but never underestimate Everton in this case. They can be a tough customer at times against many different Premier League teams, especially at home. When the home crowd gets going at Goodison, it can be tough to overcome for many teams. Walker, although not for Manchester City, haven't lost on this ground since 2017. Man City, and that was a 4-0 thrashing that time for Everton. That's the only points they've got at home against City in recent seasons. That's a lovely ball out to Jack Grealish on the left-hand side. He's just working his way into the box. Here's Grealish. Does get its way through, and Alvarez with a shot. And Pickford had to get his reactions right there. And now Beto trying to force a counter, but Manuel Akanji does well to cover that one over. But that was close for Julian Alvarez. Really good opportunity for City. Jack Grealish, the switch ball initially out to Grealish. He drove it into the box, played it across, and Julian Alvarez was there waiting to finish it. Great from Jordan Pickford to get in the way of the ball and deny City an opener here. Here's Onana. Having to skip through players, but right into trouble. John Stones has it back. Grealish on the left-hand side. Trying to play it on for Julian Alvarez, but coming over and booting the ball into the stands was James Tarkowski. City throw-in. They want to keep the tempo up, City. Take that throw-in quickly. Here's Grealish. Ake. Nice football. Here's Alvarez. He's drifted out to the left-hand side. Puts a ball in himself. Away by Branthwaite. Picked up by Rodri. Now Walker. Out wide to Bernardo Silva on the right flank. Back infield to Walker. Walker now to Foden. He's trying to dribble his way on the edge of the box. Has to go wide. Gives it to Nunez. Now Walker. And Bernardo Silva's in the box. He's battling with Mikalenko and loses out that one. And Mikalenko fires it up the pitch, trying to find Beto. Beto, who just can't keep the ball for long enough. And Man City have it back again. Control from the visitors early on. 5 minutes gone, 0-0. But Man City dominating the early possession here at Goodison Park. Just update you on those games then around the ground. Still playing at the GTEC Community Stadium, where Brentford are 3-1 down against Wolves. A very interesting storyline there. And at Chelsea and Crystal Palace, it's 1-1. Michael Elise with the goal just before half-time to get Palace back on level terms. So, goals galore around the grounds so far tonight. And those early kickoffs as well. Exciting indeed. Here's Kyle Walker for Manchester City. And as I mentioned, City have won 5 trophies already this calendar year. The Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, Super Cup and the Club World Cup already now. It's tough to beat that. Even in the best of years. It's actually only could be beaten by winning a League Cup. And that's another trophy they're not in this season, so they'll not win it this campaign. That's a foul by James Garner. Will be a Manchester City free kick on the halfway line. Rodri will take, finds Ake. Now Alvarez, back to Nathan Ake. Everton trying to squeeze the pitch, put pressure on Man City, but they know how to play out of this. Here's Rodri. Back to Ake. And the space in the middle for John Stones. He spreads it out to the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva looking for the run of Benitez Nunes, but good covering by Jared Branthwaite and puts it out for the corner to City. City's first of the game. The first corner of the game goes the way of the visitors. Bit of wind might play into the action. Bit windy there. See at the corner flag. The wind is picking up. It's moved the ball actually. The wind is certainly a factor. Bernardo Silva takes the corner short. Gets it back. Plays it right across the box. Grealish on the edge. Now Walker. Walker from distance. It did take a deflection. Kyle Walker there, and it will be a City corner. Miles of space for Kyle Walker on the edge of the box. He was the last man for City. He pushed up right high. He took the strike with his right foot, low and hard. And it did take a deflection off Jared Branthwaite and wide for another City corner. On the right-hand side this time. Bernardo Silva again over to take it. Julian Alvarez the short option. Go long this time. Bernardo Silva with the ball in. Away at the front post by Tarkowski. All the way out to Grealish now. Nunes is taking up the ball on the left-hand side and just overhit that one. We'll go all the way back to Edison in the City half. And they'll build again, Manchester City. Alvarez, who's in an unusually deep position. A lot deeper than usual. Akanji. Now Walker. Well, Man City know what to do in this type of position when they're dominating the ball and they just need to keep it moving. Keep the pressure on the opposition and not allow them a breakthrough. Here is Kyle Walker trying to lift it. Good block by Branthwaite. Everton just can't seem to string 2 or 3 passes together when they get the ball at the moment. City are so intense on their press. That was lovely from McNeil, and the push on James Garner by John Stones will give Everton a free kick. And it was better from Dwight McNeil. He actually didn't try and force a pass. Just took his time, knew that he needed the space that he needed to put the ball into, and they've won a free kick from that, Everton, which Andre Gomez will take. 9.5 minutes gone. Everton have their first set piece. Gomez with the delivery. It's a long range one. Right into the box. Bouncing in the box it is. Onana keeps it alive. Back to Patterson. Now wide. On the right is Jack Harrison, who's seen how to play there. And that will be a Everton throw-in on the right-hand side. And Andre Gomez is an interesting factor in midfield for Everton, of course. It's just gone half-time, by the way, at the G-Tech. So Brentford 1, Wolves 3 at the moment. But as I'm saying, Andre Gomez, an interesting factor for Everton, of course, this evening. This is only his second start this season for Everton. He started in the Tottenham game. I think he scored in that Tottenham game as well. He did. He scored the comeback goal for Everton. You come on for Idrissa Gueye, who was injured in that game. This is his first start this season, which is an interesting factor. He changed the game, as many people said, for Everton in that Tottenham game. He was a change of the factor and made Everton more competitive. It'll be interesting to see how he does it again tonight against Manchester City. Long ball from Pickford, flick on by Beto, put City in a bit of a scramble, but Manuel Akanji there to deal with it, and Kyle Walker to clear it up the line, and now to play for an Everton throw-in. It was better from Everton there though, getting the flick on from the long range kind of clearance by Jordan Pickford. Throw in to Branthwaite, back to Pickford on the edge of his 18-yard box. Onana Branthwaite. Back to Pickford again. Pickford trying to spread it out to the left. Mikalenko with a heavy touch. Does make it work. Plays it forward, trying to find Beto the target, but City intercepting with Walker. And Stones with the ball forward. He gives it away to Mikalenko. Gomez in a few battles, and the ball will just bounce forward. Oh, Tarkowski not the most confident at the headers there, and gives it away to Foden. Foden with a strike, just wide. It was always going over the bar from Phil Foden there. Again, Tarkowski lets the ball bounce, and I mean, I thought defenders are always told never let the ball bounce when it's coming towards you. Always try and head it first time, and Tarkowski did let it bounce. It made it awkward for him, and then Phil Foden was able to pounce upon that and try and put City in ahead there, but was always leaning back from the shot. Oh, just misplaced there from Andre Gomez. Lovely again. Beto holding the ball up from the Jordan Pickford clearances. Maybe that is why Sean Dyche has decided to go with Beto this evening instead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Of course, he's on the bench, but Calvert-Lewin is most well known for his hold-up play at Everton. Of course, massive goal scorer as well, of course, but hold-up play is one of the key factors when Everton are up against it. Bernardo Silva trying to thread it through, tried to be too cute with Mateus Nunes there and give the ball away. McNeil gives it to Mikalenko. Has to go back to Branthwaite. And now Pickford trying to find the ball. Goes forward. Walker with the first header. Mikalenko chests it down with the second ball, and then the flick forward by the Ukrainian is out of play for a City throw. Game's a bit stop-start at the moment. Neither sides can really find a rhythm in it. I mean, City have had 77% of the ball, but we know what they're trying to do, City, of course. It's a similar tactic. I mean, they don't change their tactic for any team, Manchester City. They dominate the ball. They know what they've got. They know they're better than you, and they try and carve you open. That's beautiful from Grealish. And now Alvarez. And now Nunes with the strike saved. And Alvarez is wide. Two huge opportunities. Mateus Nunes with the first, and then Alvarez with the second. Beautiful link up initially by City. Grealish to find the run of Alvarez, and then Alvarez just to spread it wide for Nunes, who's totally unmarked. He hits it straight at Pickford, and then the second one, Pickford recovering, makes a save with his left foot against Julian Alvarez. Corner it is, whipped in by Silva, cleared away by Tarkowski, and now Garner trying to get the counter-attack going, but City cool, calm and collected from there and have the ball back with Edison. That's quite a couple of chances early on for Manchester City, but so far no breakthrough on any of them. Akanji to Walker. 15 minutes gone. Everton 0, Man City 0. City clearly the dominant force early on, but we will see. Stones facing his own goal, not where he wants to be. Edison taking the risk and did play it out from the back there. Rodri was marked, but he did really well, Rodri, to continue the possession. And now here comes Alvarez. There's no forward option. They go back to go forward. City. Stones tries to force it. Onana intercepting. Mikalenko now. And Everton trying to go for that one-touch football. It's not on the pace of it. Gomez's pass to McNeil is just not pinpoint. And it goes out for a City throw-in. That's what's letting Everton down at the moment. A couple of times they've won the ball back and tried to play it quickly through the lines against City, but haven't been able to keep the ball either in play or in their own possession. 65% pass accuracy for Everton so far. The City's 88. I mean, there's no competition when it comes to those type of numbers. 65% is incredibly low, but considering they've had 48 passes in the game, I wouldn't be too critical of Everton so far. Long ball from Edison did find Bernardo Silva, but couldn't get past Mikalenko. McNeil, back to Branthwaite. And all the way back to Jordan Pickford, who's pressed by Bernardo Silva. He spreads it out wide, finds Patterson, goes down the line. Again, City get bodies in the way, and one of them ends up on the floor was Jack Grealish, but now here's Rodri. Rodri trying to set it up from distance, but Everton were quick to that. And now Andre Gomez trying to force the counter-attack, but Gomez, Betta was the only man forward, and he pushed it out to the left-hand side, and City recover it quite easily. Miscommunication there by Andre Gomez. And gives the ball away. Akanji down the right to Silva. Trying to feed the ball across and cleared away by Everton. Battling with City to win it back. Bernardo Silva can't. McNeil fires it up the pitch. Beto, the man, the threat for Everton, and he's pulled and pushed at, and Everton will get the free kick eventually against Manuel Akanji. Manuel Akanji, really good centre forward play from Beto. Really good hold off play against Akanji, holding it up, denying the defender any chance of getting the ball, and then coming away with it. Walker and Gomez trying to win it, and Walker actually gives away the foul on Andre Gomez. So 2 fouls there. Everton get the free kick. Really good hold up play by Beto initially though. Andre Gomez will take this free kick. Looking for options in the middle. A lot of bodies in there, a lot of height in there for Everton. Tarkowski and Beto and Branthwaite and Onana. A lot of height. Gomez looking to target one of them. Edison was in the way and got that away. Followed up by Bernardo Silva. A really threatening ball in by Andre Gomez, right on the marker. Pickford fires it forward. Lots of Everton bodies stayed up. Flicked on, but Akanji can clear it away. Garner. Better from Everton though. Branthwaite spreads it wide. Everton trying to get a bit of control of the ball, but they're not going to do it if they put passes like that. James Garner straight out of play for a Man City throw-in. There's positive signs for Everton so far. There's opportunities there. It's whether they can take them or not is the question. So far, Man City, I mean, I wouldn't say they're massively comfortable, but I would say Manchester City are certainly the dominant force early on, but there are kind of still a bit of cracks, but international travel for Manchester City. Remember, they are coming back from Saudi Arabia and that Club World Cup final on Saturday. Everton only needed to get a trip from London, so that in terms of travelling, Man City have certainly the more miles than Everton on that front. That could be a factor in it, but so far it doesn't look like it's a massive factor. Here's Kyle Walker. And 20 minutes gone, and we're still goalless. And that will be positive for Everton, considering the chances that City have had early on and the saves that Jordan Pickford has had to make early doors. But they know that it's all about staying in the game with Manchester City. John Stones. Walker. Right to the right to Silva. Blocked off and has to go back to Walker, and he's pressed by McNeil. Dwight McNeil leaves the Edison press. Back to Walker again. And now trying to win the ball was Amadou Onana, and ended up giving away the foul on Mateus Nunes, who himself is an interesting selection for Pep Guardiola in midfield, of course. We talk about he's only started 4 Premier League games this season out of his 9 appearances in the 19 games we have played this campaign. Hit the score. He has 1 assist. He's not one of the selections usually picked by Pep Guardiola, but trying to go for something different. I mean, usually what Pep Guardiola tries to do in these types of in most of his games is use a kind of a centre back or a full back as a midfielder and trying to get in that inverted role, but it doesn't seem like that's the case tonight. Trying to go for two out and out midfielders in there. That seems to be the position that he's trying to get. Although, to be fair, John Stones is occupying that on occasion. Here's Walker. Here is John Stones. A bit deeper than in a midfield role. He's been closely marked by James Garner. Stones gives it off to Edison. And now Manuel Akanji. It's just a waiting game at the moment there. Man City have just no qualms at the moment. They know what they're doing. It's like second nature to some of these players at this point. They know what they need to do, and halfway through this first half, no breakthrough yet, but City will be so comfortable with how they've played early on, the chances and the opportunities they're creating, the possession that they've had. I mean, of course they want the lead, but you know that it's not going to be a walk in the park. Certainly not Goodison Park anyway. Here's Jack Grealish, trying to change the tempo of the game all of a sudden. Alvarez trying to link it up with Foden, but just behind him, and Everton get it away. Beto holding the ball up again. He did his very best, but no one was there to try and help him and take the ball off him, and now City have taken the ball off Everton, and here's Jack Grealish. Big save by Pickford. Núñez couldn't gather it. Does it the second time. Bernardo Silva with a cross. Away by Patterson, and Beto trying to get out. But all of a sudden, Manchester City are banging on the door again. Bernardo Silva. Back to Walker. Walker with a deep cross, but too deep. And Jordan Pickford will collect for Everton to take the pressure off for the moment. But another couple of chances. Jack Grealish driving into the box, gets a shot on target. Really good. Just to squeeze it in between a few Everton players that were tracking back. Smart kind of shot there from Jack Grealish, but really good from Jordan Pickford to get in the way of it again. Pickford with the long ball. This time only found a City head, but that will come all the way back for Branthwaite and come eventually all the way back to Jordan Pickford. Beautiful ball taken down by Mykolenko. Lovely skill. Gets past Alvarez, his opposite number. Branthwaite looking for the switch ball. Just overhit there from Jared Branthwaite. Tried to find Jack Harrison on that right hand side, but too much pace in that one from Jared Branthwaite. Carried it out of play. Well, celebrity spotting in the crowd tonight at Goodison Park. Tommy Fleetwood, the very famous golfer, of course. Oh, pressure on the City defence there. They've given away a corner. The pass back from Manuel Akanji to Edison was overhit. And it did cross the goal line and behind for the Everton corner. Go behind the byline, sorry. And it will be an Everton corner. So their press did seem to work that time. City have a lot of bodies back. There are a lot of white shirts in that 18-yard box. I think about 9. Let's see how Everton do from this set piece. It's Dwight McNeil to take it, left-footed. Drifts it across, and Ake had to get his head to it. Tarkowski keeps it alive. Ake again with a header. Away by Alvarez. Mykolenko now. Bit of head tennis. And now City get it cleared, and Patterson has to go all the way back to Pickford, who first time fires it up the pitch and made a run in behind was Tarkowski, but closely collected by Edison there. Again, the game is kind of in the balance at the moment in terms of Everton have a good counter-attack, but so far, if City just maintain the possession, maintain the control, Everton become a non-factor really in it. You know, we see and we know how good City are on the ball. Here come Foden. Lovely cross. Bernardo Silva trying to curl one, but too much height on that one. Always rising and leaning back was Bernardo Silva. and all the way behind for a goal kick to Everton. So a summary of the stats so far. Man City have had 75% of the ball, 9 shots, 4 on target. Compare that to Everton, who have had 25% of the ball, just the 1 shot and none on target. Everton's pass accuracy hasn't improved much, 66% since the last time I looked at it. The City's still remains 88%, 246 passes from Manchester City to Everton's 82 so far, so not much comparison really there on that front. There's a foul by Andre Gomez. Will be a City free kick, which they've already taken. Here's John Stones. Gives it out wide to Bernardo Silva. Back to Stones. Now Walker. All the way back to Manuel Akanji and all the way back to Edison again. The second halves are underway in the early kickoffs between Brentford Wolves and Chelsea Crystal Palace. Anything happens in those, we will update you as and when they happen. And we'll have a full roundup of those scores at half-time in this one. Here's Dwight McNeil. Finds Garner trying to fade in Beto in behind, but Manuel Akanji on the press. He's overhit another pass, and now Everton on the break. Beto couldn't hold it up. But a mistake by City again. And McNeil! And a finish! Jack Harrison! The man who's been non-existent for Everton early on. He hasn't had many touches, but he gets a crucial one inside the 6-yard box. And Everton from nowhere. A couple of City mistakes. And Everton take the lead. You wouldn't believe this. Everton, their first shot on target from a man who's had single-digit touches early in the game. It's almost Erling Haaland-esque, that. No touches, no involvement in the game, but steps up at the right moment. James Garner latches upon the poor Manuel Akanji ball, and then it's a giveaway in the middle by Rodri inside his own 18-yard box. Very rare from Rodri. Stolen away by Dwight McNeil, who put the cross in, and Jack Harrison there to finish and give Everton an early lead. Really good finish. And Manchester City have been kind of shell-shocked, really, but all of their own doing. And Jack Harrison is the man who benefits. Everton 1, Man City 0. Well, the world champions right back down to earth. And no ground that can do it better than this one. Manchester City trail. Not often that has happened in this season. And interestingly enough, now, records are there to be broken, but Everton have scored, when they've scored the first goal, they've won the last 5 games when doing that. So who knows? Who knows? It's also the first goal that they've scored against Man City here in the Premier League or in any competition since February of 2021. Almost 3 years since they've scored a goal against City on this ground. And that day, they lost 3-1 to Manchester City. And it was Richarlison, the man who is at Spurs now, who scored on that day. But 1-0. And the positive vibes continue at Everton. And I said it's all about a waiting game against City. You know, you have to be patient. They're going to have a lot of the ball, but when you get your opportunity, you have to take it. You have to be clinical. And we speak about, you know, the passing accuracy and the lack of kind of possession that Everton have had, but that's expected against City. The lack of chances, shots that they've had in the game. Not a shot on target before their goal. But when they get that opportunity, that one chance, you have to be clinical and you have to take it. Bernardo Silva went down on the edge of the box, wanted a free kick, even a penalty probably. The referee waved it away, but City trying to pile on the pressure to get a quick turnaround, a quick equaliser. Here's Jack Grealish in the box, right to Rodri on the edge, and tried to find the top corner. Could only find the top of the stand behind the goal. Trying to make up for his mistake clearly there. Rodri side foots it, trying to find that top corner. He's done it many times before. That time it caught the wind and found its way into the stand behind that goal. Goodness me. Well, as I've previously mentioned, Everton's last win against Manchester City was back in 2017 on January the 15th against City here at Goodison Park. 4-0 it was on that day, and Mikalenko does well, wins a corner. And the crowd are on their feet and absolutely loving this. And the last time they got a point out of City was last season on New Year's Eve. Quite funnily enough, Damari Gray with the equaliser on that day after Erling Haaland had put City ahead. So a corner on the left-hand side. Andre Gomez to take, right-footed, right to the back post, and City have it covered, but it falls to a man on the edge, and a big save by Edison. Carries it wide for another corner. Jack Harrison again, who was ever so close, takes it with his left, outside of his left boot, and it looked like it was just looping past Edison, but he got there full grasp. Full stretch from Edison, and had to put it wide for another corner. Gomez to deliver again. Similar technique, this time at the front post, and Mikalenko goes for the optimistic one, well behind for a goal kick. I have to see this. That is incredible from Jack Harrison. But a really, really, really good save by Edison on the other end, and denies him. Couldn't deny him the first time round though. It's all about Everton now. They need to carry this momentum. You need to take it with both hands and put City under pressure. Continue to be very competitive. Offer themselves a bit more of something. Walker. Back to Stones. Rodri in his own box, having to play it out. Stones again. Pressure from Everton. They win the ball back. Lovely one-touch football. Gomez with a cross. Cleared away by Akanji. Gomez in, pressing again. Here's Andre Gomez. Couldn't keep the ball. City get it cleared. Now Branthwaite, chased by Alvarez, but did really well physically there, Jared Branthwaite, and spreads the ball beautifully for Harrison. Takes it down against Ake. Spins Ake. Now Harrison finds it to Onana. Tried to flick it back in the City box, but another heavy touch from Ake. Gives it to Beto. Beto trying to win the corner. Can only find John Stones, who clears his lines again. But this is very good pressing from Everton. Winning the ball back. It's not like anyone to do this against Man City. Pickford goes for the long option. Taken down again by Jack Harrison. Trying to spin it past Ake again. Puts a cross in. Away by Akanji. Picked up on the edge by Grealish there. And a long ball. Branthwaite on the cover. Gives it to Tarkowski, who goes back to Jordan Pickford. 10 minutes of the first half to go. Everton 1, Man City 0. Another ball over the top. Beto's made that run. Beto with a chance, one-on-one. And John Stones incredibly gets back somehow to make the challenge, but Beto was offside nonetheless. He never actually got himself back onside, Beto. Oh, actually, Ake looked to be the last man. Might have been, could have been close, but he didn't find the finish anyway. The offside comes irrelevant. John Stones actually came off the worst of the two in that challenge, and he is receiving treatment at the moment, the Man City centre-back. As can give you time to update you on these other games. Still all the same from those early kickoffs. Brentford 1, Wolves 3, and Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 1 at Stamford Bridge at the moment. So nothing's changed in those games, but a very big change in this one. Jack Harrison with the goal that has put Everton ahead against the club world champions Manchester City. And now John Stones is having a bit of treatment. It looks like to be his left ankle or somewhere around his left foot. We'll see this challenge again. It's really good to get it away, and then I think his left foot gets caught in between the legs of Beto when Beto kind of falls over the top of him. Both going for the ball, and Beto kind of maybe stood on his left foot. We'll see it again. Yes, just looks to be his left leg there from John Stones. He's back to his feet after receiving that treatment, but is limping slightly. But that is encouraging that he's up and walking, so we will see. Just had to see this goal again. Lovely cross by Dwight McNeil, keeping the pressure on, and then Jack Harrison side foots it with his left, right past Edison. It's a beautiful goal, all from really nowhere for Manchester City. Two big mistakes by them, an overhit ball by Manuel Akanji, and then Rodri facing his own goal in his own box, just can't keep the ball, gives the ball away, and quite criminally in the end. And they do concede from that Manchester City. Well, there's already been a question some parts of this season already. It's not been all Man City's way, but it's always after Christmas, on the verge of the new year, they always come into their best form and go on a mad run to go on and win the Premier League. It's always at the start of the season when teams have their best opportunities against City, like getting something out of them, even when they are a bit squeaky. But that's a lovely touch and run by Jack Grealish, and he goes down against Nathan Patterson, who's booked for that challenge, and Jack Grealish will have a free kick. And had to be made by Nathan Patterson, that challenge. Not that we condone it, but some of those challenges have to be made, and a lot of players play that kind of way. Taking one for the team, it's seen as. So Alvarez and Bernardo Silva to take this free kick for City then. 6 minutes of the half to go. Alvarez, right-footed delivery, right across, and there might be, it is a corner from John Brooks, signing for a corner. There might have been a touch in from Everton there. It was, it was Rodri that got the header first, and then the second one came off James Tarkowski to go behind. So it is a City corner. Good spot by the officials, but did take a bit of a deflection off Tarkowski. Bernardo Silva with the corner, whips it in, headed away on the front post. It was Beto there that got it away, and further away by Everton, out to Mateus Nunes on the left-hand side for City, who has to go back to Kyle Walker, who's inside his own half. Now Alvarez all the way back to Edison. It's good from Everton to play out of that position, from a defending a corner all the way back to the opposition goalkeeper. Stones. Rodri. Bernardo Silva. Trying to move it infield, did manoeuvre into the middle of the pitch, but Everton, when they get into a certain area, just forcing it away, and Tarkowski did it there and got the ball out for a City throw-in. It looks like City might be eyeing up a change, because John Stones seemingly isn't having the best time of it at the moment, maybe. That seems to be the idea, but we will see what happens here. Here's Rodri. Under pressure again from Andre Gomez. Gets it back to Walker. Through the middle, but Walker completely misses any City player in there. And Everton have it back through Patterson. Harrison chasing down the right-hand side. Gives it back in field to Onana. Now Tarkowski. Onana again. Across to Branthwaite. Gets it out wide to Mykolenko. Nice touch. Finds it to McNeil. Mykolenko's continued his run. McNeil with a deep cross. It wasn't fully cleared away by Manuel Akanji there, but City do scramble it away eventually. And Patterson spins on the ball, gives it forward to Harrison again. He's covered over by two City players there, Jack Harrison, and couldn't keep the ball. Nathan Ake got in the way that time. Nunes to Stones, and he has to put it out of play, and he knows he can't continue. John Stones, and that is going to be the end of his night. Really quality defender, really good defender, and John Stones, hard working, and he had to make that challenge against Beto, otherwise he was one-on-one with Edison, and Beto in the form that he's on, you might have bet for him, and bet on Beto. John Stones then coming off and going to be replaced by Josko Vardiol, who will actually play at left back, so he'll not be a like for like swap. I think Ake will drop into that centre back role with Akanji. And Pep Guardiola showing a bit of grievances there. Thought that the assistant should have flagged earlier for that offside against Beto, and that wouldn't have happened according to Pep Guardiola. I do agree with that on occasion. You know, they do delay the flag for no apparent reason. I mean, flag it if you think it's offside. Flag it earlier. Let the play run. It's clearly offside in your opinion, because again, they take a risk like that, losing a player who has to make a challenge, and then it all be offside and it not count, and the kind of passage of play was for no reason. The challenge was for no apparent reason. The player was offside. Everton have just won a free kick here as well, by the way. Rodri has just back to his physical best and filing James Garner, which will give Everton the free kick. It is a late challenge on James Garner, that from Rodri, so a free kick, which Gomez takes short. Garner looking to feed the ball up the pitch. Tarkowski wins the first header. McNeil battling with him. Tarkowski tries to take it round one defender, and Akanji is pushed over there by James Tarkowski, and that will be a City free kick. Last minute of the 45. Everton 1, Manchester City 0. Still all the same in the other games at the moment. Nothing changed. Still 3-1 to Wolves away at Brentford, and Crystal Palace and Chelsea playing out a 1-1 draw at the moment at Stamford Bridge. Akanji. Now Rodri. Space and time with the run to run with the ball, but finds Bernardo Silva. Walker. Infield to Nunes. He's beaten off the ball. First touch got away from him. Here's Onana. Finds Beto. Trying to spread it wide for Harrison, and Harrison tries to keep the ball, but Grealish there intercepting and getting the ball back for Manchester City. We've just surpassed the 45 minutes. Just waiting to hear how many minutes we will have added on to the end of the half. And we will have 3 additional minutes at the end of this first half. Walker. Taking his time, Kyle Walker. Finds it out wide to Bernardo Silva. Infield to Akanji. Now Rodri in the middle. He goes across to Vardiol, who will open one up from distance, but Onana gets the very good block on it. Gives it back to Patterson. He's looking for an option. Goes up to Beto, chests it, but a lot of pace on that one. Akanji runs it back. Walker. Now down the right hand side is Matheus Nunes this time. Trying to pass a couple of players. Lovely skill from Matheus Nunes. Ball does find its way to Bernardo Silva. Back to Rodri. Bernardo Silva. Matheus Nunes looking for the deep cross. Patterson was there to win it and get it away, and Beto clears it up the pitch and gets rid. Edison to recover. 90 seconds of the half to go then. Where Everton leading by a goal to nil. Do that Jack Harrison finish. Well, Everton have had 13 touches in Man City's box. City, on the other hand, have had 15 inside Everton's box. So both sides certainly getting good opportunities inside each other's 18-yard boxes at the moment. Everton have taken their biggest chance, their biggest touch from inside City's box, that Jack Harrison one. It's good defending by Dwight McNeil there against Kyle Walker. He wins a corner. Now he defends and only gives City a corner. So Bernardo Silva over to take it again. Julian Alvarez, the short option. He will take that short option, finds it to Alvarez. Cuts it back to Foden. Now on the edge is Grealish. Wide for Nunez. Back in field to Walker. Now Foden. Everton piling the bodies in the way of City, and they have to go again all the way back to Edison from that short corner. Doesn't work out for Man City. That's one thing that Everton have certainly worked on both in attack and in defence, is set pieces, most certainly corners. Wouldn't be surprised if they're one of the best teams at defending them. Lovely ball by Walker. Nunez made a run into the box, and the last touch was off as the City player, Matheus Nunes, but the flag was up anyway, so it will be a free kick to Everton as we just surpassed those 3 minutes, and we should be getting the half-time whistle in a moment. And there it is. Just heard the half-time whistle. John Brooks calls to an end the first half. At the half-time, it is Everton who lead Manchester City by a goal to nil, considering Everton have had half of the chances that Manchester City have had. City have dominated the ball, dominated the shots, but it's Everton with their one big opportunity of the half from Jack Harrison that has them ahead. Half-time, Everton 1, Manchester City 0. Half-time analysis on the way very shortly. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at Goodison Park. It's Everton 1, Manchester City 0 at half-time. The second halves are well underway and quite close to coming to a close in those early kickoffs that were half-7 kickoffs this evening, 72 and 77 minutes in those. Brentford are 3-1 down against Wolves. In that one, they were 2-0 down in the space of 2 minutes. Lamina and Hee-chan Hwang with the 2 goals inside a couple of minutes in the first half. Then Johan Visse, 2 minutes after that, had got Brentford back in the game before Wolves took a 3-1 lead. Hee-chan Hwang with a second of the night to get Wolves' third of the night, and that is what it's been since the 28th minute. We're in the 72nd minute in that one, and Wolves are still winning by 3-1, despite Brentford having now more shots and more shots on target than Wolves in the game. But it is still Brentford 1, Wolves 3 at the 72-minute mark. And then in the other game, I left you just a couple of moments ago, and it was 1-1 between Chelsea and Crystal Palace, but Chelsea have taken the lead again in that one. They took an early lead through Mykhailo Mudryk in the 13th minute before Michael Olise scored the equaliser for Crystal Palace just before half-time. And now we've just had a further update. Nicholas Jackson thought he'd put Chelsea ahead, but after a VAR check, Nicholas Jackson's goal has been disallowed. So it is still 1-1 at Stamford Bridge. So there you go. There was no need to further update you because nothing had actually changed. Nicholas Jackson has not put Chelsea back ahead. That's not long after Chelsea have made 4 subs in the second half. Thiago Silva, Romeo Lavia, Noni Madueke and Armando Broja have all come on. Mykhailo Mudryk has come off through injury. 4 changes for Chelsea, and still not enough for them to see a lead. But if they continue the way they are, maybe they will get a winner there. Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 1. And of course here at Goodison Park, it's Everton 1, Manchester City 0. And this is another game where City have had all the chances, City have had all the shots, City have controlled the ball, but Everton, when their chance came their way, they took it, and Jack Harrison with a really cool finish to give Everton the lead. But you have to talk about how well Everton have done at working against City in this first half. They've stifled City really, really nicely, and credit to Jordan Pickford as well. He's made a couple of very good saves in this one so far. I mean, he's made 4 saves in the game compared to Edison, who's made the 1, and that was a cracker of a save by Edison as well. So some top quality goalkeeping as well in the game, which could have seen the game a bit further away than what it is. But City haven't created a big chance yet, which is an interesting stat to tell you about. Everton have created 1, and that was the Jack Harrison chance, which ended up in the back of the net. City have had a few half chances. Julian Alvarez with a shot, Jack Grealish with a shot. Matheus Nunes was also getting himself involved on a couple of occasions. But on those ones, they're more half chances for Manchester City. They're not full must-score chances. Everton's one is certainly a must-score, and it all comes from City mistakes. I mean, City have the ball in their own half. Unlike them, Manuel Akanji overhits a ball, and they can't really keep it on the sidelines. A bit overhit. Kyle Walker can't keep the ball. They give it away. Then Rodri recovers it. They have it back inside their own 18-yard box, and then he gives it away, and then really good from Dwight McNeil to latch upon it, put across into the box, and a really good finish by Jack Harrison. But other than that, I mean, I don't think Everton have had many opportunities after that. Jack Harrison had another shot that was saved. Jack Harrison's had the 2 shots on target that Everton have had of that first half. And I'll run you through the stats then at half-time where we stand. Everton 1, Man City 0. 73% of the ball for City, Everton's 27%. So not really much has changed from the last time I said that. City still controlled the vast majority of the possession in that first half. They had 12 shots compared to Everton's 4, so 3 times as many opportunities than Everton. They've had double the shots on target as well. 4 shots on target to Everton's 2 in that first half. City have had 4 shots of those 12 blocked, by the way, so they credit to Everton on a couple of those occasions where they've been putting bodies on the line to get it away. City have had 5 corners to Everton's 3. We look at the passing accuracy, which I made quite a big deal of in the first half at points. City have had 385 passes, of which 89% were accurately produced, and 133 passes for Everton, which 73% were accurately passed in that. So it has slightly improved for Everton, above the 70% mark, but at one point in the half it was 65% pass accuracy, which was well below par for this level of football. Teams try and target around the 80% mark, 80 to 90%. In the Premier League, you're targeting more 90 with the quality of players. In terms of XG, Manchester City have had more of it on XG. Of course, XG is based on the chances that you've had. How many goals are you expected to have? Manchester City's XG is 1.25. Everton's is 0.71. So based on XG, Man City should be 1-0 up based on the chances they've had. But nonetheless, it's all about being clinical and about taking your chances, and so far Everton have done that. Man City haven't at the moment. So let's have a look and see what that does to the Premier League table. And the top half doesn't change. Manchester City stay in 5th at the moment in the Premier League, on course for their 4th Premier League defeat of the season in 18 games. Liverpool are top of the league with 42 points, followed closely by Arsenal, who play tomorrow night. They're on 40. Aston Villa and Tottenham make up the top 4. They're on 39 and 36 points respectively, and Manchester City there in 5th on 34 points. A win tonight would put Man City back in the top 4, but only a win would do that. Of course, they have a game in hand on the other teams around. Spurs and Arsenal play tomorrow night, and they can extend their leads, but City, of course, will still have that game in hand on everyone in the league, of course. To the bottom half, and Everton get a must-needed 3 points. This would be a defeat tonight would really put them right in the mix of the relegation battle again. If we look at this, a couple of good weeks for relegation teams, the likes of Burnley, Luton, Nottingham Forest, and Sheffield United having some positive weeks. Everton currently winning and will take themselves atop of that bunch. Everton on 19 points as it stands. They will try and push away from the relegation zone. A win would only have them 4 points clear of third bottom Luton, but a defeat tonight would certainly keep them well in the mix and in the danger point, because Luton have a game on hand on everyone else around that relegation zone, of course, after that abandonment of their game against Bournemouth. So they have a game in hand which might come in handy there at some point. At the moment, if they win that game in hand, Luton, they would be out of the bottom 3 and will be closely chasing Everton, but we will see how Everton fare on that point at the moment. Just before we leave you then, before the second half gets underway, around 4.5 minutes, that is what the table looks like at the moment. Everton on course for their 9th win of the season, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. As it stands, if they didn't have the 10-point deduction, Everton would be on par with Newcastle United at the moment, and they would be in 8th or around about 8th at the moment, Everton, which is quite fantastic considering where they started, where they were fared to be at the start of the season. We have another update from the games in the early kickoffs, and if it wasn't over, it's certainly over now at the GTEC Community Stadium. It is now a 4th goal for Wolves. Jean-Rickner Bellegarde with the goal to give Wolves a 3-goal lead, and a 4th goal on the night. 4 goals, 4 shots on target. Wolves at their clinical best tonight, and they're moving into the top half of the table into 10th on 25 points with a win tonight. Brentford will be in 15th and at threat of relegation, but they do have a game in hand. That game in hand is against tonight's opponents for Everton, Manchester City, who are 1-0 down at Goodison Park. Jack Harrison, the goal scorer. We will see if Manchester City can come back. But when Everton have scored the first goal this season, they've went on to win all 5 games. Second half on the way shortly. back to Premier League Live, the second half from Goodison Park on the way in just a moment or two. But before we get back there, let me just tell you two more games coming up in the Premier League the rest of this match week 2. Tomorrow, Brighton against Tottenham is the 7:30 kickoff, and our feature game tomorrow, a London derby at the Emirates, as Arsenal can go back top of the Premier League table. They host West Ham United, who themselves are having a good season, and they can chase down and overtake Manchester United if they win at the Emirates tomorrow night. That is Arsenal West Ham tomorrow at 8:15 then. Right, let's get back to Goodison Park then. The second half is a moment or two away with Everton and City. You're both returning to the pitch. Just enough time to tell you, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. But greatly appreciated. We're on the road to 22,000. It'd be great if we could get there by the end of the year. A couple of days to go. You've got time. That will be absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much again for joining us this evening. And we'll keep you to date with those other two games at the moment, Brentford Wolves and Chelsea Crystal Palace, as we continue the second half here in a moment. And we're back underway then at Goodison Park as Manchester City look to overcome a deficit to take 3 points or even a point away from Goodison Park tonight and get back on the Premier League bus once again. They've been a pastures new, a different setting, a different competition. They don't have a very good past in, and they lifted that trophy on Saturday. I want to lift another trophy in Premier League terms this season, but a long way from that, a long way from first position at the moment. They will be 8 points behind league leaders Liverpool if they do go on to lose this game tonight. But of course they will have that game in hand, of course, against Brentford, which that will be played at some point in the new year, whenever that may be, and that is yet to be decided. That is a long ball from Everton, and another heavy touch by Manuel Akanji, and Beto does really well against him and wins the throw-in. Beto has been really fantastic at that hold-up play so far this evening. You want to continue that. Here's Nathan Patterson for Everton. Tarkowski with a long ball over the top, trying to find the run of Andre Gomez, but too much on that one. And all the way through, we have a goal from Stamford Bridge. Chelsea had thought they'd taken the lead through Nicholas Jackson earlier in the game at when we were talking about it at half time. They now have most certainly taken the lead against Crystal Palace. Noni Madueke won a penalty and took the penalty and scored the penalty. Noni Madueke, the difference there. 89th minute penalty from him to give Chelsea the lead and possibly the winning goal. Good pressure from City there. Vardy looking for the cross, a bit high for Bernardo Silva, who has to collect it wide on the right. Here is Silva, whips across back in, away from Alvarez, and now the follow-up from Rodri is over the bar. And that's behind for a goal kick. Well, that actually changing the result for Chelsea will push them up into the top half there and would go up to 10th with a win, and will go above Wolves on goal difference. Wolves are putting in the goals tonight, but it won't be enough to put them above Chelsea if both of those two teams go on to win. Lovely through ball. Here's Beto, one-on-one with Ake. Beto with a cross. Look, actually it was a strike by Beto, but a narrow angle. And behind the goal for a goal kick. It started to rain here at Goodison, and quite convincingly raining. A bit of pace, maybe that'll change the dynamics of the game. A bit of rain and wind to make it not the most comfortable of games for either attack or defence in this one. Of course, only one substitution in the game. Everton have all 5. City have made just the one. John Stones having to come off through injury. And it meant that Vardiol would come in at left back, and Ake and Akanji would occupy the centre back positions. Here is Josko Vardiol, looking for the long one up forward. Cleared away. Gomez, nice touch in the middle, but he can't. Everton can't keep the ball, and City get the free kick inside the Everton half there. And John Brooks quite stern of where he wants them to take it from. He tells them to just wait because there's an Everton player just returning to his feet. Could be an issue here. And it's Jared Branthwaite, the man who's struggling a bit. Seems to be okay. Just a bit of a struggle there with that challenge. City have the free kick taken quickly. Rodri. It's a short one. Spread out to the right hand side, taken down by Bernardo Silva. Nunez back to Walker. Now Ake. Rodri. Josko Vardiol. To Grealish. Grealish on the right left, sorry. Has to come back infield though, looking for options. Akanji links it up to Vardiol. Now Rodri. Josko Vardiol again. Has to go back to Ake. Walker. Out wide on the right is Bernardo Silva. Made the run infield was Walker, but he's given the ball away. Everton have it back. Branthwaite to Mykolenko. Over the top for Mykolenko. Beto trying to hold the ball up. Akanji very physical there, and Everton will get the free kick. Manuel Akanji's not had an easy night. He's been very tightly and closely marked by Beto, but they're both pulling at each other. And then the follow-up, Beto battling with Walker. They do win the free kick, Everton, from that, which gets a round of applause and a thumbs up from Pep Guardiola, quite sarcastically there, against referee John Brooks. And Jordan Pickford will take this free kick for Everton. High up inside the Everton half. Left-footed. Goes long. Garner could be the closest to it. Branthwaite was there, but Tarkowski got the header on it, but couldn't get it in a good position. A nice City on the break. Rodri tries to fire it forward to Silva. Does so. He's no options. Has to go back to Rodri, who spreads it out to the left-hand side. Here's Jack Grealish up against Nathan Patterson. Grealish cuts it back, but Harrison was quick to that one and tried to find Beto, but Akanji got the better of the Everton centre forward there. Vardiol. Now Rodri. Out to Bernardo Silva. Nunez looking for the cross and got the cross in, but James Tarkowski had to put it wide. There was a few bodies in there for Manchester City that could have tapped it in, but Tarkowski got the crucial touch to put it behind for the corner. Bernardo Silva, short to Alvarez. He will cut it back. Foden, now Walker. Trying to work at City again. Grealish. Foden. Bernardo Silva. Bodies and options in there for a cross. Foden goes himself and finds the corner. Beautiful from Phil Foden. Edge of the box. And all those cute touches and intricate passes. All it needed was a cracker of a strike from the edge of the box by Phil Foden. And the club world champions are back level. Even the corners they want to take short. But all it takes is a long range strike from Phil Foden. Just squeeze it into that bottom right corner. Pickford just manoeuvred to his right hand side. Phil Foden spotted the space in the bottom corner and find the finish. Beautiful from Phil Foden. 1-1. Phil Foden steps up when it means most and it matters most to Manchester City, and he stepped up there and put a cracker into the bottom corner. 1-1, and now Manchester City don't want to look back. They want to kick on from here. Try and take a lead now. Here's Julian Alvarez. Puts a cross in. Oh, and it's inches away from back of the net from Phil Foden again. Might have took a last touch of an Everton player. That's what Phil Foden's arguing. Alvarez right across. Corridor danger. And Phil Foden was there to try and tap it. And it did take a touch off an Everton player. And somehow the officials missed that, but that is a goal kick to Everton. It should have been a corner to City, but goal kick it is. And 9 minutes into the half, and City are back on level terms. Rodri. Nunes. It's always about when you take a lead against City, it's not about trying to go for a second. A lot of teams, it's all about holding on. Because City never really phased when they go behind. They always know that they've got the quality to come back. And here's Bernardo Silva again. City looking for a quick turnaround. Silva. Cross is cleared away. Only as far as Rodri though. Akanji. Now Nunes on the right. Chops onto his left. Puts a cross in. Away again by Garner. Loose touch from Rodri. It falls to Beto. And now McNeil tries to find it through to Beto again. Who's made the run. He's pushed himself out to the left-hand side. Back in field to Onana. And back to Branthwaite and all the way back to Jordan Pickford. Onana. Branthwaite. Back to Pickford. Well, Pitt might have run himself out of steam, but this man hasn't. Here's James Garner. He's made the run, but couldn't keep pace with Nathan Ake. He got back and got City the ball back. Rodri. Walker. Speeds his way through the middle. Here's Kyle Walker. Has to go out wide though. Just about kept it in, did Bernardo Silva. Now Julian Alvarez. Back wide to Silva again. Silva at the byline, puts a deep cross in. Straight into the hands of Jordan Pickford. No real threat there. Full time at Stamford Bridge, and Noni Madueke's penalty is the difference that gives Chelsea the 3 points in that London derby against Crystal Palace and puts them up to 10th. Palace in 15th and only 3 points clear of the relegation zone. That relegation battle certainly very tight at the moment. Everton are one of those teams that don't want to be dragged back into that. They got themselves a good kind of gap, but with recent good results from the teams below them, they're starting to lift themselves up on points, and all but one team in the Premier League is now in double figures. That is Sheffield United on 9. Everyone else has reached that double figures marker. So they're looking to try and be competitive at the bottom. Really good from Mikalenko to win it back off Nunes. Now here's Onana trying to carry it forward. Lovely flick. Finds it to Gomez. He was challenged by a challenge there, Onana. The referee played advantage. And he's not going to pull it back. But Onana is still on the ground. And City will play on as they can do. Well won back by Andre Gomez. Now McNeil. Everton are trying to continue because Onana is back on his feet. But McNeil couldn't find the through ball. And Amadou Onana is back to his feet, but he's wincing in pain. Vardiol to Foden. I'm surprised the referee didn't pull it back the first time. It did give Everton the advantage, but they didn't have very much of an advantage in the end. I'm surprised the referee didn't pull it back for a free kick, but nonetheless, here we go. It's Bernardo Silva. Edge of the box was Akanji, has to cut it back to Walker. Now Silva across to Rodri. Spins its way out to Grealish on the left-hand side. Here is Jack Grealish. Gets to the byline and wins a corner off Nathan Patterson. And now that the ball has gone out of play, the referee is going to book a Manchester City player. And the man he's going to book is Manuel Akanji for that challenge on Amadou Onana. which I'm surprised he didn't pull back the free kick, but he's given him a yellow card. Said he'd take another corner short. Silva, Grealish, and Nunez gives it back to Patterson. But then Patterson's ball forward is nicked away by Grealish. Akanji. Rodri isn't allowed the space and time. Under pressure was Walker. Had to feed it wide to Gvardiol. Now Bernardo Silva on the left hand side. Silva trying to manoeuvre a space. Has to go back to Gvardiol. Akanji to Silva again. Now through the middle is Grealish. Taken down by Gomez, and that'll be a free kick to Manchester City and a yellow card to Andre Gomez. So a free kick for Manchester City to try and get themselves a lead in this game. They've made hard work of it, but they're going to try it. Bernardo Silva and Julian Alvarez over this one. Looked like Mateo Kovacic was getting himself ready on the sidelines for City, so they're eyeing up some more changes. 60-minute mark has just surpassed. Alvarez and Bernardo Silva over the free kick. Alvarez to take it, go from goal, but really good from Jordan Pickford. Parries it wide for the corner. Alvarez and Bernardo Silva tried to trick the Everton keeper, but Pickford knew it was always coming towards him. Got in the right place to make the save. Gvardiol to Rodri. Back to Gvardiol again. Looking for the cross. Nathan Patterson over the block. And another Man City corner. And Mateo Kovacic is going to enter the fray momentarily. Alvarez and Bernardo Silva to take this corner. Might go for the short option again, City, of course. Here's Alvarez. He'll go whip it in. Pickford missed it, and Foden! Now Ake blocked. And Pickford tried to come for it, but it ended up behind. And the referee is pointed to the spot for a City penalty. I think they're claiming handball. Sean Dyche is screaming at the fourth official. The referee must have got some information from his assistant. See this again. So, Ake with a shot. I mean, come on. Amadou Onana going to grind. He needs his arm. The arm is... I mean, by the letter of the law, it does hit his arm, but his arm is in a natural position for what he's doing. He's going to ground to try and block the ball. I think it's harsh. But VAR have stuck with the on-field decision, which I particularly think is wrong, but nonetheless, Manchester City will have a penalty. No Erling Haaland, though, to take it. He usually does take the penalties. Erling Haaland, not involved tonight. Well, we'll see who's going to step up. Julian Alvarez to take the Manchester City penalty, it seems. Known as the backup to Erling Haaland on many occasions. Will he be a worthy backup and try and put City into a lead in this one? Jordan Pickford trying to delay it as much as possible. And he's just been booked here, Jordan Pickford, for wasting time on this penalty. So Julian Alvarez up against Jordan Pickford. Goes for the penalty. Scores the penalty right down the middle. Jordan Pickford tried to scramble at it with his feet, but Julian Alvarez forced it past him. pace and power, and it finds the back of the net. And the club world champions have turned it around from 1-0 down at the half to lead 2-1 in the second half. And Julian Alvarez, his penalty, puts Manchester City ahead. Not the most convincing of penalties though. Straight down the middle, and Pickford was almost could have got it. Well, I mean, have your own say from the replays of the penalty. I think Onana can't do very much about that. It does hit his arm, but it hits underneath his arm, where his armpit would be. It just hits there. And that is a controversial one, but who knows what a penalty is and what it isn't anymore, what a handball is anymore in these days. Man City take the lead from that penalty. And Everton have just made 2 substitutions as well. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Michael Keane have come on in the meantime. Mikalenko trying to play the ball forward. Kanji in the way and flicked on by Walker, and now Bernardo Silva runs it out of play. Everton throw in. 25 minutes to go, and Sean Dyche now has to rally the troops and get them back fighting against City again from a deficit this time. They know they can score against Manchester City. They've already done it tonight, and they need to take their chance when it comes their way. And so far, they've had 1 shot in the second half, Everton. Compare that to Manchester City, who themselves have had 7 shots, 3 on target. But remember, Man City completely dominated before Everton scored the first time. The only difference now is that Man City have scored twice from their attempts in the second half. Akanji, Walker, right out of play there from Kyle Walker. Another Everton throw in. It's all about getting the job done for Manchester City tonight. We've got Sheffield United to come on Saturday at the Etihad. And Mikalenko does incredibly well there. Broke down the left-hand side and was battling with Kyle Walker and won a corner off Kyle Walker, did Vitaly Mikalenko. So a corner it will be to Everton. James Garner to take it in what Everton would call their best opportunities to score, set pieces. Garner, right-footed, in swinging corner, right to the back post. Tarkowski was the closest, but couldn't direct it on goal. Could only put it wide. Goal kick. So just update you on the current state of play in the game. 3 substitutions were made after that City goal. Dominic Calvert-Lewin on for Beto, Michael Keane on for Andre Gomez, and Mateo Kovacic has come on for Mateus Nunes. So 2 for Everton and 1 for Manchester City. Alvarez. Vardiol finds Phil Foden. Rodri. Akanji. Out wide on the right hand side to Bernardo Silva. Vardiol. First time pass. Akanji gives it away. Mikalenko. Into the middle is Onana. Battling. Gets it to Garner. Now out wide on the left is is Mikalenko trying to find the ball forward for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but Edison anticipated and came to collect the ball. Well, Beto done a really good job of holding the ball up against the City defenders. It's now Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who at this club has been a master at doing that against any opposition. Really good anticipation from Mikalenko again. McNeil tried to carry the ball with him. The referee said no foul. Garner wins it back. Mikalenko throwing himself at the ball. Onana almost caught out. Here is Amadou Onana. Pointed to Branthwaite. Looking for the ball over the top to McNeil. Cut out by City. Rodri wins it. And Rodri has it here. Now Kovacic. Bernardo Silva. Wins the throw in, does Bernardo Silva. City progressing up the pitch again. Well, a win tonight would put City back into the top 4 above Tottenham, but Tottenham of course play tomorrow. They are away to Brighton. City will have a game in hand on everyone else around them after both Spurs and Arsenal play tomorrow. Of course, that game against Brentford to come in the near future at some point. If they win this game and that game in hand, City would be on 40 points. Would only be 2 points behind league leaders Liverpool, but of course at one point this evening they were going to be 8 points behind Liverpool. They're now just 5 as it stands, though of course all can still change. 20 minutes to go. Everton 1, Manchester City 2. And City having to come back from a Jack Harrison opener for Everton. They responded through Phil Foden and Julian Alvarez, both on the score sheet, to give them a 2-1 lead at this point. Rodri. Kovacic caught on the ball. Referee didn't give him a foul. Onana pings it forward, looking for Calvert-Lewin. He's brought himself out to the left-hand side up against Nathan Ake. Go at the City defender. Finds McNeil. Back to Calvert-Lewin. Now McNeil wide again. McNeil with a cross. No one in there. And Grealish somehow at centre-back clears the ball away. Silva has it inside his 18-yard box. Has to clear it away himself. But Michael Keane intercepting. Here's Harrison. He's had very little of the ball in the second half so far. And Harrison wins Everton the throw-in off Josko Vardiol. It's better from Everton there. Here is Nathan Patterson. Looking for options. A lot of white shirts around this area. Very high up on the right hand side from Patterson. Taking his time. Finds it to Harrison. He holds it at the corner flag, trying to win a corner. He lost the ball. Julian Alvarez recovers. Grealish. Said he trying to play one-touch football, but getting in the way was James Tarkowski. Tried to hit it off Vardiol last, and Tarkowski keeps it in play. Just about, but can't keep possession as City clear their lines again. But good pressure from Everton. Keane. And trying to make it run for Harrison. He couldn't get it off Vardiol. But Everton not afraid to get bodies up the pitch and put pressure on this City defence. Man City, one of the masters at playing out from those tight positions. Here is Rodri. Grealish has broke into space. Now Alvarez. Grealish was brought down there by Tarkowski, but the referee is playing on. Rodri. Grealish is still down. Walker. Will play on. City did have a bit of a think about that. They wanted to put it out, but Jack Grealish has since returned to his feet, so they keep the ball in their possession. Kovacic. Vardiol. Bernardo Silva. Kanji. Kovacic. Ethan Ake back to Josko Vardiol. Just confirmations of the full times from those early games. Wolves quite convincingly beating Brentford on their own patch. 4-1 winners, Wolverhampton Wanderers. They led 3-1 for quite a long time before Jan Rekner Bellegaard got the goal, the fourth goal, just before the 80th minute to wrap it all up for Wolves. That is a massive back-to-back wins against Chelsea and Brentford for Wolves in recent times. In good form themselves, that pushed them up to 11th place. Here's Jack Harrison, puts it across, and opportunity for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to find the equaliser. What an opportunity. Beautiful touch by Patterson. Laid it off to Harrison. Harrison with a cross on the right hand side, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin trying to get across. Manuel Akanji, who has met him all the way. And the last touch did come off Calvert-Lewin, who just fired it wide. So close, from close range from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but that will certainly give Everton belief that they're still very much in this game. Here's Jack Harrison. 15 minutes to go. Here is Harrison again. Trying to flick it forward for McNeil, but Harrison keeps his run going. And here is Jack Harrison in the box. Just seen out, trying to link it up with Mikalenko, who lost out to Kyle Walker. And then Walker speeds away from Mikalenko. Across the halfway line, gives it to Alvarez. Heavy touch, Tarkowski on the recovery. Fantastic from Everton there. Alvarez has gone down. Referee said no foul. But he's going to stop the game here. Referee John Brooks. To check upon Julian Alvarez. I can continue my wrap of those earlier games. Chelsea did beat Crystal Palace in the end by 2-1. Mikhailo Mudryk, who later went off through injury, put Chelsea ahead. And that one, Mikel Olise with the equalising goal just before half-time, before Noni Madueke's penalty in the 89th minute sealed the points for Chelsea in that close game, where they had less shots and less shots on target than Crystal Palace. Who would have thought of that? Chelsea 2, Crystal Palace 1, and that put Chelsea back up into the top half above Wolves, into 10th. So Julian Alvarez just checked upon there after going down from that challenge. I didn't think there was any malice or any contact actually in the challenge. It was a clean clean challenge by James Tarkowski, the Everton captain. And don't forget, we've more Premier League football to come for you on LFS. Final of our 3 games this midweek, and it ends with a London derby at the Emirates tomorrow. Arsenal against West Ham tomorrow at 8:15 on LFS. Looking forward to that one too. Arsenal have a chance to go back top of the table. West Ham have the chance to break into the top 6, both needing a win to do those specific targets. That's tomorrow at 8:15. Do join us for that one. Looking forward to that. That's a late challenge on Bernardo Silva from Jared Branthwaite. Oh. Boiling over as always. Love that. John Brooks has just booked a player there. There was a bit of extra helpings on the touchline there. One of the Everton coaching staff got a bit heavily involved with Kyle Walker. Yeah, it is a crunching challenge by Jared Branthwaite, but Kyle Walker tried to win the ball. The Everton coach threw it away. It's kind of riled up Kyle Walker, but that all came to nothing. Edison pressured on the ball. Puts it straight, gives it away straight out of play, but Everton couldn't keep it. Got a bit excited that they'd won the ball back. Onana there put it out of play for a City throw-in. But only 1 goal in it, and still very much in the balance. 12 minutes plus additional time to go. Everton 1, City 2. Oof. Tarkowski right over the back of Julian Alvarez there. Michael Keane helping out, gives it back to Jordan Pickford. He fires it up the pitch, Pickford, but Walker does well defending and wins the throw-in off that Jordan Pickford clearance. Throws it to Kovacic. Akanji all the way back to Edison. Instantly pressed by Calvert-Lewin. Gives it to Ake. Nathan Ake. Goes to Vardiol. Now Ake. Lovely link up, and Grealish is taken out by Tarkowski. That'll be a free kick to Manchester City. Really good touch, Jack Grealish there with his right foot, and it took him well away from the ball, well away from James Tarkowski, and that is a free kick. Everton are going to make some changes. I'm going to make another change, and they're going to bring off their goal scorer, Jack Harrison. He's going to be replaced by Arnaut Danjuma. So Danjuma on for Harrison, and that is Everton's third substitution of the evening. They've 2 left to make. City have 3. Both have only one occasion to do so, though. But Everton will not give up yet. Not give up hope at all. They know that the game's still tight. There's very little in it. I mean, in terms of the scoreline, there's very little in it. Man City have dominated with the vast majority of it, but they've been very competitive, Everton. It's not been one of those games where they've been blast right out of it. They've had opportunities themselves. Heavy touch by Grealish. He loses the ball, and he gives away a free kick that will get him a yellow card. And after complaining all night that he wants everyone else to get a yellow, quite ironic that Jack Grealish ends up in the book himself for a foul that he has made on Dwight McNeil. So a free kick goes Everton's way, and a yellow card goes the way of Jack Grealish. Nathan Patterson coming away from that challenge. And Jordan Pickford will get a ball to take this free kick just inside the Everton half. Jordan Pickford readying to take this free kick. City with such a high line, halfway up their own half with the back line. Pickford fires it forward. Away by Akanji first time round. Danjuma trying to win it back, but Foden picks it up, tries to carry it away, but really good challenge by James Garner to win it back for Everton. And all the way back to Jordan Pickford again, who fires it up the pitch. Calvert-Lewin chests it down for McNeil. McNeil trying to manoeuvre a position. Gives it out to Patterson. Calvert-Lewin is making a run. Ake gets it away. And Vardiol on the press. Gives away a throw-in. Throw-in to Everton. Patterson to take quickly. Back to Dwight McNeil. Nice infield touch. Lifts it over the top and just too high for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to get ahead towards. And then to Edison's hands there. So Everton 1, Manchester City 2. 8 minutes plus additional time to go. Well, they played each other over the festive period last year, and that was on New Year's Eve, where City drew 1-1 with Everton on that occasion. Here's Jack Grealish for Manchester City. Manchester City just trying to hold on to the ball and do what they've been doing this second half. Everton trying to get in the way of that, but here comes Kyle Walker. Mikalenko up against him. Mikalenko battling for the ball and kind of bundles over Kyle Walker, but the officials will give a throw in to Everton. And Pep Guardiola is giving the assistant pelters on the sidelines. He's not happy with that decision. Felt it was a foul on Walker, but Mikalenko won it fairly according to the officials, and he takes the throw in. He's flicked on. Kanji up for the header. Does keep it in play. All the way back to Jordan Pickford for Everton there. Taken down beautifully by Calvert-Lewin. Now McNeil sets it up, running through is Danjuma, but Edison got in the way and came and collected it. It was an incredible touch by Dominic Calvert-Lewin to set it up, but nothing doing in the end. Here's Vardiol for City coming the other way. Alvarez eyed one up from distance, will go himself now and over the bar from Julian Alvarez. And behind for the goal kick to Everton. Not a bad shot. Blast right through the back of the ball, but he's always leaning back. Always going over. Long ball. Recovered by City from Everton there, but a loose pass. Calvert-Lewin on the press, but really good there from Kovacic to keep the ball. Carries the ball forward. There's not many options. Has to go back to Walker. Rodri to Kovacic again. 5 minutes plus additional time to go. Everton 1, Manchester City 2. Walker. Oh, and heavy touch by Kyle Walker. Rare mistake by him. Puts it straight out of play for an Everton throw-in. Here's Jordan Pickford. Ooh, miscontrolled that clearance, and here's Bernardo Silva. Wraps it all up. Terrible from Everton, playing it out from the back. And Bernardo Silva, the man who completely embarrasses Jordan Pickford and gets the 3 points, which head back to Manchester. Bernardo Silva, the third goal scorer for City, who lead 3-1. So poor from Jordan Pickford. And they play it back to him. He just plays it, tries to go with a kick, gives it away, and then Bernardo Silva, the man to take the shot from distance, curls it into an empty net. And he should just run back towards his goal. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. And Man City take their chance and capitalise upon the Everton mistake, and they get the third one that will give them well hard worked 3 points on the road, and the Club World Champions are back to Premier League winning ways. 3-1. I mean, he's made some great saves tonight, Jordan Pickford, but I mean, the night will only be remembered for that mistake from a position where he's usually so comfortable and so calm. But on that occasion, he snatched at it, completely gave it away, and Bernardo Silva put the stamp and the seal on it. And they will get the 3 points tonight, City. Now, they did score 3 against Everton here in May. Ilkay Gundogan with 2 and Erling Haaland with 1 himself on the day. That means Manchester City will have won an incredible 7 games on the bounce. They'll make it 8 with a win tonight. 8 wins on the bounce at Goodison Park since that 2017 loss. That's all but 1 win all but one game won for Pep Guardiola as Manchester City manager at Goodison Park. Not many teams have a better record than that, if any at all. It's never an easy game when they come here, but they always fight to the death to get the 3 points. City, and as I mentioned, 8 times out of the last 9, they will collect up all the points. Lovely from McNeil, but crowded out there by City and couldn't keep the ball. And now, as we head into the final minute of the 90, Everton are still competing, still going for it, but at the moment it will be a tough task for Everton to get anything out of this one at this late stage. It'll be another really good win, and it would put Man City at the top of the away form table. 6 wins out of 10 away from home this season. Only Liverpool can match that on 19 points out of 10 away games this season. Everton at home still looks quite bleak. Despite recent good results at home, they still only have 3 wins out of a possible 10 games at Goodison Park in the Premier League this season. That includes a League Cup defeat to Fulham very recently, where they looked like they were getting back into the game late on, but ended up losing on penalties. Everton that night. On this night, much more convincing. As we surpass the 90-minute mark, we will have 6 added minutes at the end of the game. 6 minutes where we might just wrap up the formalities. Because at this point, as I mentioned, it would be something of incredible feat if Everton were to come back. Phil Foden hits the post. He could have really wrapped it up and gifted Everton a late Christmas present. For the goal. Phil Foden. Another opportunity to take another goal. Really good. Hits it off the post in the end. 91st minute. All the way back to Edison. City are just prancing the ball about. They're cruising at the moment. Lovely from Phil Foden. Skips away from a challenge. Drives it into his own into the opposition half. From his own half. Gives it to Alvarez now. And City will just take stock again. Rodri. Back to Akanji. Silva. Back to Ake. It's certainly not been the most comfortable night for the City defenders. Ake's been one who knows it more than any other. A tough night for him. But in the end, Manchester City, they used that incredible forward line that they have of Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish and Julian Alvarez all getting involved to get them the 3 points. Silva, Foden and Alvarez, the goal scorers. And the Club World Champions are back to the Premier League action. A tough game to come into. A hard-fought result. But they'll get the 3 points in a matter of moments' time. They're just playing it around quite coolly and calmly. Triangle football at the moment. Working it out beautifully, Manchester City. It's glorious how they can just keep the ball. They always have an option open. And here's Kovacic, makes a run. Trying to find the run of Alvarez, but getting back was Tarkowski to get in the way. Pickford, Onana to Tarkowski. And Everton get rare possession. And overall in the night, 27% of the ball for Everton. Only 2 shots on target. City have had 22 shots, 8 on target to Everton 7 and 2 on target. Man City have had over 700 passes in the evening to Everton's 270. So we've already surpassed the 1,000 pass mark over the game. Oh, Foden again from distance. Pickford was well off his line and had to take the power out of that one. It was full power behind that one from Phil Foden. A blaster of a strike. And he's loving this, Phil Foden. It's about time to decide player of the match. I'll decide that in a moment. Stan Juma's come forward here. I don't think there's going to be much out of this for Everton. Who knows, though? Mikalenko with a cross, and too high for James Garner. Patterson charging towards it to keep it in, but just out of play. The decision. I mean, is it really much of a decision? It's tough because all four of the City forwards have a claim for it, but I think there's only one man that I think can get it, and I would have to pick Phil Foden. He has been quite beautiful to watch tonight on the ball. 94% pass accuracy, 3 key passes, 2 shots on target. Firing in the shots. He's won majority of his duels tonight. Hasn't given the ball away many times. He's won them a couple of free kicks. He's, of course, scored the equalising goal. A cracking goal it was. I think the player of the match has to be Phil Foden, which I don't think many would have arguments with this evening. And talked about how tight it is down there at the bottom. Everton would be first bait for Luton. With that game in hand, Everton would be the victims of dropping into the bottom 3 if Luton do win against Bournemouth in that game in hand. Everton would drop into the bottom 3, somewhere that they do not want to be. And considering they've had a 10-point deduction as well, it's some feat that they are out of the bottom 3 at any point of this season. To lose 10 points and have a tough time of it. They've done incredibly well to respond. This result might not go their way tonight, but overall the performance from Everton on multiple occasions has been quite fantastic. And they probably have deserved more than what they've got tonight, but this is what the best of the best do when they aren't playing at their best. They always find a way to win, no matter what. And that is what Manchester City have done tonight. They're back in England, back in the Premier League after their another trophy lift halfway across the world. They travel all the way back from Saudi Arabia and have a tough game at Goodison Park, a hard-fought game where they went behind through Jack Harrison's first half finish. But goals from Phil Foden, Julian Alvarez and Bernardo Silva topped it all off and gave City a very comfortable end to the night. They dominated the ball, they dominated the chances, but Everton were a tough customer as always and fought ever so hard. But in the night, it's Pep Guardiola and Manchester City that come away with the 3 points on this festive fixture on Merseyside. Final score from Goodison Park, it's Everton 1, Manchester City 3.